Stop for a moment. Look around you. Do you believe that what you see, feel, and touch is all that exists? We live immersed in a reality that seems tangible, concrete, and limited. But what if I told you that what you perceive is only a small fraction of what's truly there? There's an invisible world, a dimension that goes beyond what the senses can grasp. It has always been there, surrounding you, yet few people become aware of it. Jacobo Greenberg, a visionary in the study of consciousness, dedicated his life to exploring this mystery. He arrived at a conclusion as fascinating as it is challenging: the reality we know is not all there is. It's merely a fragment, a shadow of something much vaster and more complex. For him, discovering the truth meant going beyond the obvious, beyond the limits imposed by our five senses. His quest led him to envision an expanded dimension, a way of seeing life that transcends time and space. Today, I want to invite you to explore that world, a space where time and space cease to be limits and become gateways to something deeper. By the end of this video, you'll understand how a simple shift in your perception can transform your life. You'll see how breaking the barriers of the known can open you to a world full of possibilities, a world where the invisible becomes visible, and where you are the creator of your own reality. Imagine you are a point, a tiny mark in the void. If you move, you become a line. That line, when it shifts, forms a plane. And when the plane expands, the three-dimensional space in which we live comes into being. This is how we perceive our reality, in 3 dimensions. Everything seems to fit perfectly within this structure. But this perception, while useful for our daily lives, is limited. It only allows us to see a part of reality. We move through a world governed by time, as if it were an arrow always moving forward. As if the present were the only thing that exists, the past left behind, and the future a mystery. But what if time isn't a line? What if, instead of something that drags us forward, time is more like a river with currents to explore, or even an ocean where everything exists simultaneously? This is the limitation of our three-dimensional perception. We see only one page at a time, believing it's the only one that exists. But the entire book, the sum of all the pages, is there, waiting to be read. Our minds tell us that what we cannot see or touch is not real. But, what if there's more? From this limited perspective, we cannot comprehend the whole. Yet, when we open our minds to new ways of thinking, we can begin to see that the universe is not confined by our rules. There is something beyond, a realm where time and space are far more flexible than we've ever imagined. Accessing these higher dimensions isn't about looking outward, it's about turning inward. Consciousness acts as the key to unlock the doors of the invisible, but to use it, we must let go of our habitual ways of thinking. Instead of seeing time as something that pushes us forward, we can imagine it as a vast ocean where every drop represents a specific moment, coexisting with all others. If time and space are far more malleable than we believed, then our intentions, thoughts, and desires have a deeper impact on reality than we can imagine. It's not just about dreaming or wishing, it's about understanding that every thought holds the potential to be a creative force, a bridge connecting our consciousness to the realities we wish to experience. Our desires, far from being mere abstract ideas, act like magnets, shaping the world around us and attracting what aligns with our inner energy. However, not all desires have the same reach or capacity to manifest. Those that arise from the surface or the ego often remain trapped within the limitations of the three-dimensional plane. In contrast, desires born from authentic intention, aligned with our purest essence and a higher purpose, have the power to transcend the barriers of time and space. They are like energetic pulses vibrating beyond our usual understanding, opening pathways to hidden dimensions that have always been there, waiting to be activated. When a desire is connected to your true purpose, it stops being just a yearning and becomes a key. This key doesn't just open doors in this physical reality but also reveals deeper levels of existence, clearing away the fog that has always obscured the truth. These desires, guided by an impulse for goodness, self-discovery, and personal growth, have the power to transform your life experience. They not only lead you toward what you seek but also awaken in you a broader understanding of how the universe works. Connecting with your deepest desires is not just an act of introspection, it's a language that transcends the limits of physical reality. These authentic desires, those born from the purest part of your essence, act as signals from a higher dimension. They're not mere impulses, they're guides showing you the path to what truly matters. It's as if the universe, in its vastness, whispers instructions that you can only hear when you silence the noise of the world and turn inward. In this expanded state of consciousness, you realize that your thoughts and emotions are not mere reactions to the external world. They are creative forces, threads weaving the reality you experience. But to reach this level of clarity, it's essential to let go of the chains of the ego, that part of you trapped in the illusion of the self as something separate. The ego keeps you anchored in a limited perspective, where everything seems linear, rigid, and controlled by time. Letting go of the ego doesn't mean giving up your identity, it means transcending it. It's like viewing your life from above, as if you were an observer seeing the full landscape of your existence. From this broader perspective, you can see that the self is just a role on a vast stage, a piece in a universal puzzle far greater than yourself. And it's in that moment that everything changes, superficial desires and ego-driven fears begin to fade, making room for deeper and more authentic intentions, those that resonate with your truest essence. These desires, free from the limitations of the ego, connect you to the very core of the universe. You begin to understand that physical reality, so solid and definitive in appearance, is merely a surface layer. Beneath it lies a network of energies and dimensions waiting to be explored. This shift in perspective not only transforms the way you see the world but also opens doors to experiences that transcend the known, allowing you to exist in a state of deeper connection with all that you are and all that exists. Meditation is the key to open that door. It's an extraordinary tool that lets you see beyond the obvious, beyond what your senses show you. When you immerse yourself in a meditative state, something changes. You leave behind identification with the physical body and the limitations of linear time. Suddenly, you realize you are not just a bundle of thoughts or emotions. You are something much vaster, a consciousness capable of exploring a reality where time and space are malleable, a continuum with no beginning and no end. Imagine for a moment that through this practice, you can access fragments of something greater, something that transcends the present. People who have delved deeply into meditation often report glimpsing future events, as if peeking through a window into what has yet to happen in this reality. Think about how impactful that is, the possibility that time is not a boundary but a canvas that can expand and contract depending on the depth of your perception. This suggests something fascinating. In that higher dimension, there exists a plan, a pattern, a path that your life is already following. But the most extraordinary part is that this plan is not set in stone. You, as a conscious observer, have the ability to explore it, understand it, and, if you wish, reshape it. It's as if you were an artist, able to redraw your path with each stroke, aligning it to your deepest purpose. That is the true magic of connecting with the invisible, realizing that you are not here to follow a pre-written script but to co-create a reality that reflects your true essence. Meditation is the gateway to this multidimensional reality, a space where you can directly experience what transcends time, space, and the limits of ordinary perception. As you quiet your mind and let your breath flow gently, something magical happens. you begin to feel a profound connection with everything around you. Events that once seemed isolated, the people who cross your path, and the desires within you start to weave into a greater pattern, revealing connections that once seemed invisible. To step into the invisible and begin shaping your reality, conscious visualization is one of the most powerful tools you can use. It's not merely about imagining but creating a mental image so detailed and vivid that it feels like a real experience. This process goes beyond fantasy. It's an act of alignment between your mind, emotions, and the vast field of possibilities beyond what your senses perceive. When you practice conscious visualization, you project yourself into a dimension where time and space are no longer limitations. Here, what you desire begins to resonate with an energy beyond your three-dimensional reality, connecting you to the essence of what you wish to manifest. Every detail you include in your visualization, colors, textures, sounds, even the emotions you would feel, amplifies this connection and sends a clear message to the universe: this is already part of my life. A practical exercise to begin with is to imagine an ideal situation in your life. Close your eyes, relax your body, and let this image come to life in your mind. Don't treat it as a distant wish but as an experience you are already living. Feel the emotion of being there, perceive the sounds around you, the aromas, the sensations on your skin. This level of detail not only activates your imagination but also aligns your thoughts, emotions, and energy with that reality, creating a vibration that attracts it to you. But visualization is not a standalone act, it's a habit that must be integrated into your daily life. Consistently applying this practice helps you develop a four-dimensional awareness, an expanded perception where you begin to see your life from an entirely new perspective. In this state, obstacles are no longer immovable barriers. They become movable pieces of a larger puzzle that you can rearrange and shape with your conscious thoughts and actions. Intuition, that inner voice we often ignore, is a direct gateway to knowledge beyond the obvious. It's not just a hunch, it's a channel connecting you to deep wisdom that doesn't depend on logic or time. When you learn to listen to it, you realize it carries the answers you need, guiding you toward decisions that resonate with your true purpose. It's like a map that shows you the way, even in the most uncertain moments. Developing your intuition requires cultivating the ability to listen without interference. Take a few moments each day to sit in silence, letting distractions fade away. Ask yourself, what is my inner self telling me right now? Don't analyze the answer, let it come as a whisper from the depths of your being. As you strengthen this connection, you'll find the answers becoming clearer, revealing paths you couldn't see before and helping you make decisions aligned with a greater wisdom. Working with a perception that transcends time and space means accepting that results don't always manifest immediately. This process doesn't follow the logic of the three-dimensional here and now. It's like planting a seed in fertile soil, it needs time to germinate, grow, and bear fruit. Anxiety over quick results only creates resistance, while trust and patience open the way for energy to flow naturally. If you ever feel impatient or frustrated because you don't see changes, remember that you're participating in a process much larger than your usual perception. Authentic desires don't just manifest when you think about them, they manifest when you allow them to mature in their own time, aligning their essence with your reality. In this process, the key is not rushing but trusting that everything is happening at the perfect moment. When you work from this broader perspective, what matters is not speed but the profound connection between who you are, what you desire, and the universe around you. Intuition is one of the most powerful tools we possess, yet we often ignore it or push it aside, thinking it lacks foundation. However, intuition is much more than a mere hunch. It's like a bridge between the visible and invisible, a direct connection to wisdom that transcends time, space, and even logic. Think about those moments when you feel an inexplicable certainty, a sense that something is or isn't right without knowing exactly why. That is your intuition speaking. It's the voice of a higher dimension perceiving patterns, connections, and possibilities that your conscious mind cannot fully grasp. In the fourth dimension, intuition acts as a guide. It shows us the way when circumstances seem uncertain or when we need to make important decisions. But to hear it, we must learn to silence the noise of our analytical mind, that part of us always seeking explanations and reasons. Intuition doesn't operate through logic, it operates through clarity. Begin by listening to yourself. Take a few minutes each day to pause and ask yourself, what do I truly feel at this moment? Don't seek a rational answer, just feel. Over time, these small practices will help you recognize your intuition's voice more easily. Everything we've explored so far leads to a simple yet powerful truth: you are the creator of your reality. Every thought you hold, every emotion you sustain, and every intention you project shapes your life experience. You are not a being limited by time and space but a consciousness in constant expansion, capable of connecting with higher dimensions and manifesting what you truly desire. Today, you hold the opportunity to change how you perceive life. You can choose to look beyond obstacles, doubts, and limitations. You can begin living with expanded awareness, knowing that each small step, each conscious decision, is opening new doors to the invisible. I invite you to commit to yourself. Dedicate a few minutes each day to meditate, visualize, and connect with that fourth dimension that has always been there, waiting for you. This commitment isn't to anyone else but to yourself, to your essence, to that inner power we often overlook. As you integrate these practices into your daily life, you'll notice the pieces of the universe begin to fit together in unexpected ways. You'll start to see solutions where there were once only problems, opportunities where there were only challenges, and a clear path where everything once seemed uncertain. The reality you experience is a reflection of your inner world. By transforming yourself within, you transform what you see outside. So start today, right now. The next time you face a challenge or an important decision, pause for a moment, close your eyes, and connect with that part of you that knows you are capable of anything. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the invisible. I hope you find in these words a spark that illuminates your path. See you soon, and remember, the universe is always ready to show you more, if you are ready to see it.